Bobby Draper pushes her squad through grueling combat drills on Mars, muscles burning, nerves on edge. Orders flash in. Phoebe Research Station is under attack. On Earth, the United Nations debates blockading the Martian fleet. Avasarala quietly supports the measure but distrusts Ehrenreich. She hires private security, preparing for betrayal. A Martian vessel fires on a UN ship.
I can't hear you.
The UN holds back, reading the missiles as threats, but Phoebe's station doesn't survive. Draper steels herself, ready for war, while her commander Sutton preaches caution. Back on the Rocinante, Holden and Miller recover from radiation sickness, tension simmering between Miller and Amos until Naomi steps in. Hidden in a cryogenic safe from the Anubis, a piece of the protomolecule waits. They stash it in a debris field, patch up the ship, and slowly, trust and friendship deepen between Naomi and Holden. Alex cooks lasagna, and for a few hours the crew forgets the war and eats, talks, and laughs. Later, Avasarala hires spy Kotyar Ghazi, eyes on every angle. The Rocinante docks at Tycho Station, Fred Johnson scowling at their arrival. The crew explains the chaos on Eros and the ongoing data transmission to Thoth Station, easing the tension. Johnson unites rival OPA factions with deadly precision, killing a leader to cement control. The Rocinante becomes the Hammer, blasting through defenses as the strike team boards Thoth Station. The station falls quickly. They capture Dresden, the lead scientist, and his assistant, Cortazar. Dresden doesn't care about loyalties, he only wants to continue his work with the protomolecule. He tries to convince Holden and Johnson to let him go, but Miller pulls the trigger, ending him instantly. Earth retaliates by destroying Mars's moon Deimos. Draper's squad reels under the shock, loyalty, and fear clashing. Holden and his crew return to Tycho, anger simmering toward Miller for Dresden's death. Fred Johnson tells Miller he needs to leave, but Miller refuses and finds solace in the quiet of a Mormon temple. Johnson, Holden, and Amos coax the captured Cortazar to talk. Miller pieces together the next move. Eros must be destroyed. The key lies with the Nauvoo, the massive ship Fred Johnson commands, capable of moving a celestial body. Avasarala uncovers a link between the protomolecule and Jules Pierre Mao, Julie Mao's father, and crafts a careful plan to expose it. Miller sets the Nauvoo plan in motion. The demolition team seals Eris's docks while civilians evacuate.
For your own safety, sit back down.
The Nauvoo commandeers the station and sets a collision course for the sun. The Rocinante drops bombs. The team retrieves them for precision placement. A group of doctors refuses Holden's orders. They risk spreading the protomolecule. Holden makes the brutal choice to destroy their ship. Debris damages one of Miller's bombs. He stays behind on Eros, watching the Nauvoo approach. Nothing happens. When Holden and the crew check, the Nauvoo has hit its mark, but Eros moves inexplicably as if alive, dodging destruction. Eros barrels towards Earth, unstoppable and terrifying. Miller volunteers to take the bomb into the asteroid's core and escape. Earth fires planetary defense missiles, but Eros goes stealth, vanishing from radar. The Rocinante races close, keeping visual lock for Fred Johnson to guide the missiles.
What the hell up now?
Where's Eros?
Eros responds, accelerating, forcing the crew to push their ship to the edge of human limits before giving up the chase. Inside Eros, Miller finds Julie Mao transformed, alive in a horrifying fusion of protomolecule and human. She controls the asteroid, and for the first time she listens to words, to care. Miller removes his suit, reaches her, and convinces her to turn Eros away from Earth. She redirects it to Venus, crashing with catastrophic power but saving humanity. Solomon Epstein dreams of a Mars free from Earth's chains, powered by his fusion drive. Back in the present, Avasarala cornered Ehrenreich, forcing him to expose Mao with threats to his family and empire. On Tycho, Fred Johnson suggests using missing nukes to pressure both Earth and Mars, a plan that makes Holden furious. The Rocinante crew mourns Miller, knowing the protomolecule is too dangerous to keep, and agree to launch it into the sun.
We should kill it, drive into the goddamn sun.
Naomi fakes the launch, a secret that weighs heavily on her. On Ganymede, Bobby Draper patrols the agricultural domes with her Marines. Suddenly, gunfire erupts. UN forces charge at them. Comms are down. Above them, MCRN and UNN fleets mistake each other's jamming for an attack, and the orbit explodes into chaos.
I can't believe we're doing this.
Mirrors shatter, raining metal and fire onto the colony. Bobby sees her team killed around her. She wakes among the wreckage, barely alive, staring at a figure that doesn't belong to any world she knows. Inhuman, silent, and terrifying. The aftermath of Ganymede shakes the system. Bobby is rescued by the MCRN, but her story is met with disbelief. Avasarala pushes for a peace summit to prevent war, knowing both Earth and Mars think the other fired first. Over 3,000 are dead, and the destruction of Ganymede's farms sparks a refugee crisis across the belt. Anderson Dawes arrives on Tycho, convincing the Belters that Earth and Mars will never respect them. Bobby is sent to Earth to testify, instructed to claim Mars acted accidentally, even as her memory clings to the inhuman figure she saw. On Tycho, Dawes notices that Cortazar's disappearance is no accident. Alex and Naomi chase the escape, but Dawes and Cortazar have vanished, leaving more questions than answers. Praxidake Meng, or Prax, clings to hope as he sails toward Tycho with other Ganymede refugees. He mourns his daughter May, taken when orbital mirrors fell, and watches as the ship's crew ejects panicked passengers. Hatred between Belters and Inners simmers like a fire ready to ignite. At Tycho, the station groans under the weight of thousands of refugees. The Rocinante crew pieces together a signal, a protomolecule shout from Ganymede at the time of the attack. Footage shows Dr. Strickland, a former protogen pediatrician, taking May from the clinic just before disaster.
Dr. Lawrence Strickland, degrees in all three.
Dawes' radicals storm Tycho, seizing Fred Johnson and Kamina Drummer to provoke war, but the Rocinante crew stops them. Prax, seeing a chance to find May alive, joins the crew to return to Ganymede, hope lighting a spark in his grief. The Rocinante approaches Jupiter, its small ship suddenly glaring and vulnerable. They commandeer the weeping somnambulist, the crew skeptical of their intentions. On Earth, Mars' delegation arrives for peace talks. Bobby Draper's testimony paints Mars' actions as accidental, hiding the truth of the alien figure from the summit.
As commander of the fire team, the responsibility is mine.
Alex hides the Rocinante behind a Jovian moon, waiting for the signal to act, while Prax scowls at the chaotic planning. Holden senses something is wrong aboard the somnambulist. As he intervenes, violence erupts, and a crew member dies.
We got company!
Meanwhile, the Arbogast, a research vessel orbiting Venus, discovers unusual activity in the Eros impact zone. Avasarala realizes, with Bobby's help, that the protomolecule threat has only just begun. Bobby slips from confinement to wander, craving the ocean. She passes under bridges filled with street people, a silent reminder of Mars's inequalities. On Earth, Aaron Wright admits to Avasarala his role in Mao's Eros schemes. Avasarala shows Bobby images of the inhuman figure from Ganymede, realizing it may be a weapon that could fall into Martian hands. On Ganymede, Amos pressures an informant for footage of Dr. Strickland taking May to the station's oldest sector. Prax, haunted by the devastation, knows the ecosystem can't recover. Alone aboard the Rocinante, Alex receives a chilling MCRN alert. Ganymede is a no-fly zone. Meanwhile, Bobby drags Captain Martins into a small room and pushes him until the truth spills out. Jules Pierre Mao's protomolecule project caused the Ganymede disaster. The orbit erupted in chaos because of his experiments. The technology is not hidden anymore. It's being offered to anyone with enough money and power. Bobby carries the knowledge to Avasarala at the UN, asking for protection.
This is a brave thing you have done today.
Mao contacts her directly, promising answers if she meets him alone, away from UN control. Against Kotyar's protests, she agrees. Meanwhile, the Arbogast sends a probe to Venus. Its cameras catch a giant, alien-like structure of protomolecule energy before the feed dies. On Ganymede, the Rocinante weaves past the MCRN blockade using Alex's daring gravity slingshot. The crew expects emptiness in the old station, but finds people in casual routines, oblivious to the danger. Prax, seeing his daughter missing, panics and fires his weapon.
Where's May?
Chaos erupts. Holden and Prax stumble into a horrifying truth. The monsters are children, altered with protomolecule to serve as living weapons. May's fate is uncertain. Some of the monsters attack their creators, leaving bodies scattered, but a dying scientist whispers that countless others remain.
A lot more.
Naomi and Amos scramble to evacuate civilians, while Holden, Prax, and Alex track the monsters. Every second, a fight for survival. Avasarala, Bobby, and Kotyar ride to Mao's ship, tension tight enough to cut. Mao talks calmly, promising Earth and Mars access to the protomolecule, positioning himself as the one who keeps the balance while secretly controlling everyone. On Earth, Aaron Wright moves like a shadow, poisoning a Martian minister and ordering a Black Ops ship destroyed. He gives Mao subtle instructions: eliminate Avasarala and tie up loose ends, all without leaving fingerprints. On Ganymede, Holden stalks the protomolecule monster, growing reckless with anger. Naomi and Amos race to repair the somnambulist. The ship can hold 300, but oxygen only supports 52. Over 100 desperate refugees crowd the doors. Naomi persuades a belter to give up his seat so children can live. The somnambulist breaks the blockade under fire. Alex convinces Holden to prioritize the civilians, threatening the MCRN with the Rocinante's guns. The crew doesn't notice the monster hiding silently on board, waiting for the perfect moment. The monster strikes. It bursts from the Rocinante's cargo hold, crushing Holden's leg and tearing panels apart for the reactor's radiation. Amos calculates a deadly solution: blow it into space with pressurized air, but Holden will die with it. Prax spots its obsession with radiation and hatches a plan. They lure it with the missile's nuclear core. The creature lunges, seizing the bait, and the engine vaporizes it. Kotyar is shot and injured, but Bobby storms in with her power armor, saving both him and Avasarala. On Venus, the Arbogast's team descends to study the protomolecule formation, but the structure shifts, growing and disassembling in a strange living pattern. Naomi confesses to Holden that their sample never left. She passed it to Fred Johnson so the belt could have a fighting chance. On Io, May, and the other children remain trapped in stasis, frozen in a nightmare that is both horrifying and alive, a reminder of what the protomolecule can do. And that's how it ends. Eros is saved from colliding with Earth, but the protomolecule continues to spread, and secrets about its true power are only just beginning to surface. The fight for control of the solar system is far from over. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And stay tuned for Season 2. The story is just getting started.